Welcome to Beyond Startups, the podcast by the Entrepreneurship Center at the University of St. Andrews. My name is Orly, and today we are joined by João Leitão, the Vice-Rector of the University of Beira Interior, where he is also an associate professor with habilitation of economics. Yao details how the IMPACTWHEEL project is helping universities move beyond traditional academic models and create measurable societal and entrepreneurial impact across Europe. IMPACTWHEEL is a project led by a consortium of 10 institutions from Portugal, Slovakia, the United Kingdom, Spain, North Macedonia, Italy, and Latvia, running from 2025 until 2027. It operates with an overall budget of 1.34 million euros and is structured into two main phases. The first phase delivered training and mentoring for around 800 students, academic and non-academic staff, created many new partnerships and support structures, and provided support to 13 startups. In this episode, Yao will break down how ImpactWheel is supporting stronger innovation ecosystems by connecting students, researchers, and institutional leadership within a more impact-driven framework for higher education. Together, we'll examine the role universities can play in fostering entrepreneurship, collaboration, and meaningful innovation, as well as how initiatives like ImpactWheel are shaping the future of knowledge transfer and European innovation. More information about the project can be accessed through the project website at www.impactwheel.eu, where you can sign up for the project newsletter and follow their social media accounts on LinkedIn and Instagram. More details are in the podcast description. And without further ado, welcome Yao.
Hi, my name is João Leitão, and I am a member of the research team of the international project funded by the HEI EIT initiative. Well, let me just tell you that my professional journey has always been anchored in economics, higher education, and in the scope of the relationship between universities and society. Over the years, I have combined research, teaching, and institutional leadership. In the past, as head of university management and administration, and today as vice rector at the University of Beira Interior. I work specially on financial matters, administrative modernization, and community interaction. This combination naturally led me to initiatives that connect knowledge creation with territorial and entrepreneurial impact.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that introduction. I want to ask you a bit about Impact Wheel itself and what that project is and how it happened to be created.
Yeah, Impact Wheel is a European project, as I mentioned before, designed to strengthen the entrepreneurial and innovation capacity of higher education institutions. It was created to help universities move beyond isolated entrepreneurship activities and build more systematic ways of generating impact through training, institutional change, and collaboration with regional ecosystems. The project also uses, and I would like to outline, the value creation wheel VCW methodology to support the transfer and co-creation of entrepreneurial practices.
I want to ask within that and within all the things that you explained, what are those like specific challenges that this project addresses in both higher education and entrepreneurship?
For sure, the project responds to a very common challenge. That is, many universities have good ideas, but they struggle to transform them into sustained entrepreneurial impact. In this line of action, Impact Wheel helps institutions build internal capacity as well as involving stakeholders more effectively and turn entrepreneurship from peripheral activity into a part of the university's strategic mission. So it is therefore about institutional transformation and not just running isolated activities.
And so within this model and the European collaboration, how was the Impact Wheel Consortium formed and selected?
The consortium was built as a diverse European partnership, bringing together universities, intermediary organization, and innovation-oriented companies from several countries. Its main strength lies in the combination of different institutional profiles, geographies, experiences, and they allow us to establish partnerships, to learn from one another, and to adapt successful methods across different contexts. So that diversity is not a weakness. It is one of the project's biggest assets, and especially using the innovative tool of the value creation wheel, VCW.
And is this what makes this project particularly strong or unique within Europe, or are there other things that make it stand out as well?
Yeah, what distinguish Impact Wheel, in my point of view, it's the combination of practical tools, institutional change, and cross-sector collaboration. So it's not limited to training alone. It also aims to embed entrepreneurship more deeply into university governance, commercialization pathways, and regional innovation ecosystems. In fact, the use of the value creation wheel, VCW, and the strong link between pioneer and novice partners make the project especially transferable and impactful.
All right, but then, so you've talked a bit about how there's links between academia, industry, and policy, but so how does this project, in effect, make that collaboration happen?
Yeah, this is the traditional vision based on the triple helix model. So, exploring the relationships between university, industry, and government, and also expanded by incorporating the four helix approach that is integrating also community. And Impact Wheel is designed precisely to bring these worlds close together. It promotes co created training, the scaling up of startups, stronger links with business partners, and institutional engagement with leadership and regional actors. In this sense, it helps universities become more connected to the needs of enterprises and to policy priorities around innovation, territorial development, and somehow with sustainability issues and the accomplishment of targets and goals connected with sustainable development goals.
And within building all this up and with all these various goals and how many different sort of departments that it connects together, like what have been the main challenges that this project has faced and how have they been addressed?
Yeah, this is a multinational project. So the main challenges are coordination, alignment across institutional cultures, and basically ensuring that tools developed in one setting can be adapted to another, that is, transferables.
Hmm.
The project addresses this, especially through structured collaboration, shared methodologies, pilot testing, and continuous exchange among partners. So the diversity of the consortium requires additional efforts,
Hmm.
but it also improves the quality and relevance of the results.
Something that you talked about a bit is the real entrepreneurial impact that Impact Wheel encourages. And so, how does this project help universities sort of move beyond theory, which is something that sort of comes up a lot in various episodes that we've had about the need to really go and move beyond the theory and get your hands dirty. So, how does Impact Wheel help universities do that?
Well, it does so by translating ideas
Mm.
into institutional practices, also through training models, steering structures, and measurable outputs. So the project seeks to institutionalize entrepreneurship by embedding it into university strategy, staff development, and student engagement. So this means that we are moving from occasional initiatives to a more permanent impact model.
All right. And so, what are some of those like tools and frameworks and methodologies that the project introduces to make that happen?
Yeah, as previously outlined, the central tool is the value creation wheel, which supports the identification, design, and the scaling of solutions. The project also develops training programs and micro credentials, specially based in the different experiences, expertise, know how of the different national committees associated. And I would like to outline, especially in the Portuguese case, concerning the role played also by the University of Beira Interior. I would like to outline the importance of having the managerial team and the direction of our vertical incubator, which has a strong experience in fostering and accelerating startups connected with the health and well-being sector. Okay, but also using entrepreneurship steering committees, which are used to evaluate opportunity business plans, to design and to implement hackathons, accelerators, and other international projects devoted
Mhm.
to a movement connected with fostering entrepreneurial mindset. And I would like to outline that in our case, this is the fourth project, that is the third cohort supported by EIT initiative devoted to higher education institutions. So this is quite an amazing experience.
Mhm.
And also, of course, co-creating practices that can be reused across the different institutions that are participating in the consortia. So these tools make the project both methodological and operational. So in a certain sense, it has very good theoretical and applied roots, but we count on with the experience and the entrepreneurial spirits of the different partners.
Yes, absolutely. And so, what are some of the outcomes that these various methods have been able to achieve with the impact wheel? Like, so what are some of the things that, what are the sort of biggest highlights that this method has allowed?
Yeah, at this stage, impact is measured through indicators such as participants engaged, solutions co-designed, training activities delivered, and institutional mechanisms that were already introduced. So the project has publicly reported targets, such, such as, I would like to give you an example, engaging over 1,000 students and staff and creating new institutional pathways for entrepreneurship. So more broadly, impact here means whether the project changes behavior, structures, and collaborations in durable way, that is
Mhm.
with longevity goals.
Absolutely. And so you talked about how much engaging students is a big part of this. And so how do you get students to engage and role do they play in driving entrepreneurial transformation?
Yeah, as you can imagine, students are a cornerstone here. They are central because universities ultimately exist to prepare people who can think critically, act creatively, and solve problems. So, in Impact Wheel, students are not passive recipients. So, they are participants, proactive participants, I should say, in co creation, training, and entrepreneurial experimentation, which in theoretical terms, it's like following an effectuation approach. Trial, error, pilot, testing, failure, trial, pilot, test, failure, and learning from failure, which is the more important. So their engagement is essential for building an entrepreneurial culture which survives beyond the project itself. So it's changing the mind and the action.
And so I imagine that to foster that culture amongst the students, you have to sort of create that at the university and faculty level. And so, how is that leadership culture sort of fostered at the university and faculty level?
Yeah, this is a critical success factor. And I am mentioning here the importance of leadership because transformation requires institutional commitment, not just individual enthusiasm. It's not enough. Faculty culture is equally important because entrepreneurship becomes sustainable only when academic staff see it as compatible with teaching, research, and academic management or transfer and innovative activities. So, if leadership and faculty align, the university can create a much stronger environment target to change.
Hmm. And you touched on sustainability just there, but so how does Impact Wheel integrate sustainability into entrepreneurship education?
Yeah, the project does not treat entrepreneurship as a purely economic issue. It connects it in a more broad sense with social and regional dimensions and impact associated. So, in practice, that means encouraging solutions that respond to real societal challenges,
Mhm.
support regional innovation ecosystems, and contribute to long term resilience. Sustainability, as you are asking, is therefore embedded in both the content and the purpose of entrepreneurial learning oriented to sustainable development goals, which, as you know, are aligned with the Agenda 2030.
And so you've talked a lot about what Impact Wheel is currently doing, but I want to ask you as well what the long-term vision for Impact Wheel is.
Yeah, the long term vision is to leave behind universities that are more entrepreneurial, more connected to their regions, embedding the smart specialization strategies principles, and better able to convert knowledge into value. So the legacy should be institutional, not temporary. So new structures, practices, partnerships, and a culture of collaboration that continue after the project ends.
Mhm.
That is the real measure of success of Impact.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And where can listeners learn more about Impact Wheel or get involved in any way?
Yeah, listeners can learn more through the project's institutional and project web pages, and also this podcast series, I should say, where partners share updates, activities, and results.
Hmm.
The project is also active in the broader EIT higher education initiative networks, which makes it easier to follow its development and connect with its outputs with, and I will close like this, with social impact.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing Impact Wheel's journey and mission.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I wish you entrepreneurial ventures with success and social impact.